I got a new phone recently. I didn't want to get a new phone, but my old phone kind of forced my hand. About a month before my contract expiration date, the phone started doing some weird things. It was randomly shutting itself off. The battery would drain inexplicably. The phone's cameras wouldn't focus anymore. Very strange. But anyway, so I upgraded the phone, and when I upgrade a phone, I generally, first thing I do when I get home is to delete all of the apps that I don't use. I get rid of the games, all of the bloatware that comes with the phone, utilities that I don't use. So one by one, I started to delete those apps, and everything was going pretty good until I got to the Facebook app. I couldn't delete the Facebook app. There was no option for it. The only thing that I could do was disable it or force it to stop. So I called my carrier and I said, why can't I delete the Facebook app? I don't use Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I don't want it on my phone. He said, no, you can't. The newer phones, apparently, not all of them, but many of them don't allow you to remove Facebook. So that's unacceptable. And the more I read up on it, the more I found it to be the case. Samsung phones, LG phones, they don't allow you to delete the Facebook app. Now, when an app doesn't allow you to delete it, it makes me think that it's still working in the background, collecting data. And especially Facebook is notorious for this, because their whole reason for being is to collect data. So this was a troubling thing. I have this new phone, and I have an app on that phone that I don't want, that I can't do anything about. So that was the first thing that troubled me about this new acquisition. But there was also something else that I came across. When I went out to test the very icy here. When I went out to test the camera, I was looking at the photos, and I noticed that by default, all of the photos were geotagged. Now, if you don't know what that is, when you take a photo on a digital camera or a camera phone, the camera will imprint some information. It's called EXIF data, EXIF, and you can check this yourself. Go to your gallery, pull up a photo, go to the three dots if you have an Android phone on the upper right, click that, go down to details, and it will give you some information that the camera has put on there that will tell you when you took the photo, what day, exactly what time you took the photo, and what settings your camera used. So this is every photo taken on every digital camera, because that allows you to share that photo with social media sites. But my phone had something else. By default, the geotagging function was turned on. So now what this does is it takes all of the previous information, and it also adds your exact GPS coordinates, so that someone will know precisely where and when the photo was taken. In fact, some of my photos had the Google map with a pin showing the precise location where the photo was taken. Now, this can have a couple of things wrong with it. One bad and one downright dangerous. So let's say that that you're hiking through the woods, you're on a trail, and you're in a national park, let's say, and you come across a meadow, a beautiful meadow filled with wildflowers. So you take a photo with your phone, you happen to have cell service where you are, and you send that photo to your social media accounts, whether it's Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, Flickr, any of them. You post this photo of this beautiful meadow. Now, someone else is going to look at your photo and may be very attracted to that same meadow and wonder, I wonder where this photo was taken. So they'll look at your EXIF data, because usually on these social media sites there's like a letter I that you can click for information, additional information on the photo, and everything will show up. Where the photo was taken, what time it was, and exactly where, because you've taken the photo unknowingly, because I didn't know, and the geotag has been turned on. So our hypothetical viewer of that photo will look and say, hey, I'm not that far from that meadow, I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna check it out. And he'll punch the coordinates into his phone, and he'll go and he'll look at the same meadow that you found. Now, this in and of itself isn't a problem, but let's imagine that 300 people had the exact same idea, and even though you went there originally, you were very careful to leave no trace, to leave the area as nice as you found it, you've posted that photo. So now other people who aren't as diligent as you will now visit the site, because they'll know exactly where that site is. So what happens then? People go and they'll bring their dogs, they'll trample through the wildflowers. Some people might pick them to bring home. Other people just will be oblivious, walk through. After, let's say, 300 people have visited that site, it no longer resembles the pristine meadow that it did before you got there. That's bad. And if you don't think that's a thing, it is a thing, because organizations, outdoor organizations like the Leave No Trace Society and a lot of national parks are telling people, don't geotag your photos, because it's becoming a problem. A lot of people don't know how to behave in the wilderness. A lot of people just don't care and think it's an extension of their home and they can do whatever the heck they want. So that's bad. But there's something that is even more problematic and can be downright dangerous. Let's say you're a single woman, okay? It's Friday night and you're going out with your friends. You've just, showered and applied your makeup and you're on your way out the door. But before you go, you stop and you take a selfie. And, the typical selfie, you've got the pouting lips on, you're in front of your home. Now, you don't know this, but your photo has been geotagged. So, before you take off, you're in the car waiting for it to warm up, you send the photo up to your social media account. So now, someone finds your site and, oh, let's look at the EXIF data. She's leaving the house. It's Friday night, whatever the date is. We know the time. We know where she lives because the photo's been geotagged. The GPS coordinates are there. Google has provided a map. Now, you might think that this is a good thing initially. Why have this feature? You're looking at photos 5 years into the future. You forgot where you may have taken a photo. It's a good idea to have the photo geotagged. But that's if you don't post it to social media. But now, this photo has been posted to social media. So what happens? Everyone knows you're out. They probably know where you're going, because in the old days, when you wanted to find information on someone, you'd have to hire a private investigator to actually follow you around, or go through your paper documents, run a DMV check. Now, if I was a private investigator, as most of them probably do, they start with Facebook, because people voluntarily regurgitate all of their personal data on Facebook, on Instagram, on these sites. So it's not very difficult for someone to find out what your patterns are. So our our single girl goes out, and a lot is known about where she's going, what she's doing. Let's say she goes on vacation. She's in Paris, and she takes a photo in front of the Eiffel Tower, posts that photo. Now we know she's away. She's in Paris. She's not going home anytime soon. Her house is empty. If I was a thief, I would take note of that. Yeah, it's not a good thing. A lot of people are just generally unaware. To be honest, I was unaware of how nefarious this is, and I probably wouldn't have realized any of this had I not been forced to upgrade my phone. So be careful what you put on social media. Check your phone settings, check your camera settings, turn geotagging off. It's really nothing that is that critical to have. It's more trouble than it's worth. I don't know, what do you guys think? Am I making too much of this? But I don't think I am. But I'd like to hear your comments and your thoughts. Leave a comment below.